Our little Pascal has been in training. At 16 weeks, he's doing fantastic. He is so much fun, and he's been such a joy to have around. I picked up this 5-drawer dresser, and it's a perfect size. It's fairly light, but it is wood, and it has a lacquer kind of finish on it and some kind of paint. I'm not sure what kind. So first thing I'm going to do is prep it by cleaning it really well, including the hardware, and I'm really looking forward to showing you some fun techniques with some paint. First thing I did was clean the hardware. It was quite tarnished, and so I'm going to use an SOS pad and just some dish soap, and I'm just going to scrub them as clean as I can get, and then we can go ahead and give these a makeover as well. Oil loves to stick on hardware, so really important to make sure it's super clean before you put any type of primer or paint. So I'm going to use the Crayon Flat Black. So this is a paint and primer in one. In some cases with the hardware, it's sometimes advised to use a very fine grit sandpaper and give it a little bit of a sanding before you apply the paint. All my furniture pieces that I do for a makeover, I always wash with degreaser dish soap and give it a really good cleaning inside and out. And sometimes even oven cleaner is your best solution because of the condition the furniture piece that you found might be in. So I applied 2 coats of the paint and primer in the flat matte finish, and I'll let these dry overnight. I want to share one of my favorite painting techniques, and that's using a glaze and paint mix. I'm going to use a chalk paint in French linen as my base coat. But before I use the glaze, I'm going to apply the French linen, 2 full coats with lots of texture. And I'm going to be using this acrylic glaze. And this is a clear glaze that I get from Benjamin Moore. And this is for decorative finishes. And this acrylic glaze is actually water-based, and so is the chalk paint. So I'm going to be making a ratio of 4 parts glaze to 1 part paint, and I'll show you how I do that. So for my glaze mixes, I'm going to use a dark and light color. First, for the light color will be a country gray. And for my dark color, I'm going to use HonFleur, which is a real chocolate brown. So again, I'm going to use these plastic cups to make a ratio of 4 parts glaze to 1 part paint. What the glaze is going to create is a transparency to the paint color, and this is going to change its viscosity, which helps with the decorative finish. So the first thing I'll do with the dresser is put on a fresh coat of French linen. I put my coats on nice and thin, and I'll put 2 coats on, letting each coat in between dry 100%. So sometimes it's just best to let your coat dry overnight and apply your second coat, make sure it's completely dry. Then we can proceed to the glaze for the decorative part. I love lots of random brush strokes. This is going to create a lot of texture, and it's also just going to create for the paint. So when I go to use the glaze, you're really not going to see the brush strokes anymore, but it will create a really fun texture when we get into the glazing. This type of technique, even with the glaze, the 4-part glaze to 1 part paint, can work with any type of furniture paint. And the clear glaze comes from different products, so you'll just have to check out from your local paint supply stores in your area and ask if they carry clear glaze. I know Benjamin Moore does, as well as General Finishes. We had this sporadic, unexpected snowfall that lasted about a day and a half, and this is Pascal's first introduction to snow. Now I have 2 full coats of French linen completely dry that I let dry overnight. Now I can go ahead and make my glaze mix. So I generally will use 4 parts glaze to 1 part paint. And I find the cup sizes are more than enough for a dresser size, but depending on your project, you can make the ratio as much as you need. But you want to stick around the 4 to 1 part. Because the glaze is clear, I know it looks white, but it's actually a clear. What it will do is it's just going to add this viscosity, similar to making a paint wash, but the viscosity is going to be a lot less drippy and more manageable as we continue on with any of the technique we want to use in order to create a really textured look. I generally would like to use a light color and a dark color, so I find that this gives a really good effect for the technique that I'm going to use on this dresser. So to apply it, you can use any brush. You can use a flat paint brush, you can use a round oval brush, whatever you have on hand. You don't need a particular type of brush for this. I want to share with you a few ways that you can apply glaze and create a very similar texture, so whichever one you're more comfortable with. This way I'm showing you first is I just use random brush strokes with the glaze, then I go around with a shop towel. You could use a lint-free cloth and you're just going to dab it. And what it's going to do is it's just going to take parts of that glaze off, leaving a remnant of kind of an imprint. And you can use the same rag even though it's absorbing some of the glaze. When your rag or your towel gets too saturated, you might want to swap it out and get a fresh one, but one will take you for quite some time. This type of clear glaze and paint mix does not necessarily dry quickly. It does dry probably in about 15-20 minutes, so you do have ample working time. I like to work in small sections, so every time I do a section and I go around and kind of rag it and make this imprint, I like to move my rag around a lot so the print is not the same. And I also like to overlap my glaze so you won't see any of the brush marks. You can get a similar effect with using a paint wash, but the main reason I love working with glaze is it's a little bit more pronounced, as well as it's much easier to work with. It doesn't seem to run off as quickly, and this way I have more working time, and I find it doesn't interrupt my base coat as easily as a paint wash. Sometimes with a paint wash I find that the water kind of seeps into the base coat, and sometimes it reactivates my base coat. So the glaze doesn't do that, it sits virtually on top. Especially when I'm going around and I'm using a rag, what I find with the paint washes is I'm really moving it around and I'm getting a little bit rough with my paint technique. So that's where sometimes the base coat gets a little bit interrupted with, whereas with the glaze, it doesn't do that. You don't have to use the random brush strokes overlapping and using short brush strokes like you're seeing me do. You can do long, even brush strokes as well. But I just like it because it creates a little added texture on top of the texture that the ragging is doing. So what I've done with my base coat is created a thick texture with the random brush strokes. Then I create more brush strokes with the glaze. Then I create another texture with the rag, and I find it gives a really beautiful effect. There's definitely no right and wrong with this type of painting style. It's all about having fun with it. Just play with it. Don't be shy. Whatever you don't like, it's so easy to correct. All you have to do is take the same glaze, go over top of where you want to make a correction, and voila. So it's got a lot of forgiveness, and that's what makes this type of painting technique really enjoyable. Once I'm done, the whole thing will take probably about 2 hours to be completely dry. Then I can get into my highlights with the Country Gray glaze mix. The other component I love about using the clear glaze versus the paint wash is it doesn't separate. Once you've mixed it, it's good. And if you have a little leftover, you can do other projects with it as well. So for the bottom part, I'm doing the same thing as I did with the chocolate brown paint glaze mix, is I'm just making random brush strokes on top of the already dried glazing that I did. And again, I'm just using the rag on top just to make more print around on top of the low light with highlights with the country gray color. Again, this is a technique that has a lot of forgiveness. So if you have areas that you want to kind of repronounce with the glaze or make a print to, you can always go back once everything is dry and redo. This is another way that you can also apply your glaze, is just add it to the brush, then put your rag to the brush and then kind of make your own print right from the rag rather than putting the brush to the project itself. If you want to create areas that have distinct highlights and lowlights with these types of lighter and darker colors, the printed way by just putting the glaze onto the rag from the brush is a fantastic way. And again, it's just a little easier to control and you can actually go a little bit more random. I'm going a little bit more neutralized with my paint tones, but you can definitely use a lot of fun colors. If you love lots of colors and you want to use some different colors of blue and maybe add a little bit of green, this is a fantastic technique depending on the colors you want to use and your decor. I also find with using the glaze onto my rag, I can get into the tiny little corners and around the edges and the top lips of my drawers a little easier versus using the random brush strokes and then the rag. This is a lot of fun. It's a great way to upcycle old furniture pieces, and you can even do this to canvases, as well as if you find other decor items that you have or have found at a thrift shop and you want to try this technique. It can look really stunning and you can have so much fun with it. So I only used one coat of the dark brown glaze and one coat of the light glaze mix that I made. But if you want it to be a little bit more pronounced or you want to play with it a little bit more, you can definitely add more layers, just depending on what you like. The more layers of the glaze that you put on, the more texture will be more pronounced. The other thing I'm going to show you is how I'm going to seal all this paint. And I'm also going to add in another highlight just so that way it's a little bit more cohesive with the glazing I did. So I'm going to use the furniture wax. So this is a clear wax and I'm just going to use a lint-free cloth and I'm going to apply it all over the furniture. It's really easy. It's almost like a butter. You're just going to add a little tiny bit to your lint-free cloth, then go directly to your furniture project or any project that you happen to be painting. And you're just going to rub it all over. Then you're going to take another clean lint-free cloth and just wipe off any excess. Now what I want to do is add a little bit of white wax into some of the detail and around the hardware. So this way it has a little bit more feathered look, and it also just adds another piece of detail and texture to the project itself. This is just in preference. Some people even like to put in the dark wax or a black wax. So I'm creating even more highlights using the white wax, but you can use lowlights by using the dark or the black wax. But because I have clear wax already present on the furniture piece and it's not cured, if I've added too much, it's really easy to take a little bit of clear wax and wipe away any of the white. It can take up to 2 weeks until your wax on your furniture project is completely cured. But I went ahead and added the hardware that I finished, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm really looking forward to sharing more furniture projects and home decor projects, including glazing techniques with you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really looking forward to sharing so much more with you soon. Until then, take care.